Hello, ladies and gentlemen, CaptainShack here. Let's talk about Battlefront 2, EA's Battlefront 2. With the first Battlefront from EA coming out with a collective sigh from us, the gaming community, EA's Battlefront 2 is just around the corner. Let's discuss the 10 biggest criticisms of the last Battlefront and what we want as Star Wars fans and gamers that we want desperately improved for this new title. Starting out number 10, we're gonna run through a few of these pretty quickly because we already know the answers to them, but I want them listed. Maybe we'll get some adjustments for Battlefront 3. Number 10, proper server hosting. I'm pretty sure we're not gonna see this, but I wanna be able to host my own community server. This is something that communities all over the gaming sphere want. We wanna be able to host our own servers so we can have 24/7 VXP gamers fighting it out, battling it out on all of the battlegrounds in the Battlefront universe. Where the community gets together for community events on our official server, we're able to keep track of who in our community is the best and who is the worst and watch people rank up. That is part of the fun of a round-based shooter, and the fact that you guys don't have it is such a step backwards. We want to be able to have proper events and proper server hosting. Number 9, larger player cap. We already know what the player cap is going to be for this one. It's already out on their website at the announcement. They're talking 20 people in the space battles, and I want to say it's 40 people in the normal multiplayer, which, okay, that's fine, I guess. It still seems like a step back from the classic Battlefronts where they were epic 64-player struggles with tons of NPCs on the battlefield. You're telling me that we can't pull something a little bit bigger? You're telling me that we can't have a larger player cap in Battlefront 2? All right, well, moving on. We know it's not gonna be a thing, maybe next time. Number 8, no season pass bullshit. Now, they've already talked about this. They've already said there's not going to be a season pass, and this is a great improvement, and I'm happy to hear about it. So don't screw your players over and don't piss off the player base by having your season pass BS. Number 7, no community splitting DLC. Releasing maps that only some of the community can play and then splitting up servers to the haves and have-nots is always a killer for gaming communities centered around one game. If you're gonna release DLC, be creative about it. Maybe release the map so everybody can play on them, but only players that have the new DLC get access to new classes or something. If you're gonna go that route, don't split the community up into the haves and have-nots. Number 6, and we're already getting it, the campaign. Now, one of the first things that I said when I jumped into the last Battlefront was, it is beautiful, it sounds amazing, but there's nothing that really takes advantage of this like a campaign would. Now, we've only had, what, 2 years of development on this, and there's already a campaign scheduled, so please, for the love of all that is holy in the Force, do not have a 4-hour campaign. That will be a kick to the face to all of your fans. I am really looking forward to the campaign. The trailer looks great, following an Imperial soldier from the death of the Emperor for 30 years to their redemption, I guess. There's this interesting description of the campaign on the website. I recommend you guys check it out. I'm down for it. I'd love to see the Empire from another perspective. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Hell, a DLC giving us another full campaign from the Rebels' perspective and introducing new characters could be a blast. And I would gladly pay a little bit of extra to play a whole new campaign. That could be great. Number 5, the eras. Star Wars spans some great eras like the Clone Wars or the Galactic Civil War like we had in the last game, or the new era for the new movies. And this title, Battlefront 2, is actually going to have them. Now, in what form is that going to take? Are we only gonna have 1 or 2 maps for each era? That would be sad. I hope we have more, especially since we're more than likely not going to have a modding community for this because EA doesn't give out modding tools, and the engine that they're using doesn't really support it, sadly, the way it was described to me. So hopefully we've got a nice selection of maps, and I hope they go ham with the vehicles. Now, this is not a number that I put on the list, but it should be. Vehicles were so limited in the last Battlefront. We want to see the variety that is Star Wars, right? We want to see AT-STs and AT-ATs and speeders and T-47s, and we want to see all these great vehicles. Where are the saber tanks for the Clone Wars? Hopefully we see them, the AT-PTs, the little scout walkers. There's so many great, amazing vehicles for each one of these factions. Bring them into the game and just make it a sandbox of fun for the community like the old Battlefronts were. They were never overly competitive. They weren't so worried about balance that they took away the fun aspect. We want to see the Star Wars universe brought to life. Number 4, Galactic Conquest. So the conquest mode in the past old classic Battlefronts was a lot of fun. You actually had an overmap, you could move your units around the map, decide where you're going to invade, and what benefits that you get from those, or which benefits you want to use for your army to push it forward. Now I'm gonna talk a little bit about this later, but I'd love to see that game mode come back, especially with the new graphics and what they could do, maybe make that a little deeper of an experience. We'll talk about that in a second. Number 3, a proper feeling of progression. Unlocking guns that make me just straight up better than the other players on the map, that doesn't interest me. That isn't all that interesting. Progression in the way of customizing how my rebel soldier looks or what paint job that I have for my clone trooper, maybe I'm 212, maybe I'm 501st. These things would be a bit more interesting to me. Give us a feeling of progression that matters, but doesn't throw off the balance of new players versus the old players. And give us a sense that we're not just playing through mindless rounds one after the next. Number 2, space battles. We are getting space battles, but they're capping out the max player cap at 20, which is a little sad. In past Battlefronts, what we all kind of reference back to is a game mode where you could load up into a transport, fly over to an enemy capital ship in the middle of a space battle, drop off those troops, and then start taking out its subsystems. Now, it was a very simple game mode back in the day, but that was a long time ago. And what EA could do, what the developers of DICE could do with this, could be amazing. Blaster fire going back and forth between the Republic and the Separatists, and the clones dropping off in a lat inside one of the Separatist battleships while taking out the subsystems. It could be an amazing experience, but they decided just not to do it and separate the gameplay from here's space, here's ground, there is no intermixing them because ships can't land. Why remove this? Why take away something that is one of the best memories of the old Battlefront games? I don't understand it, and it's something that we've all kind of argued for quite some time. And number 1, which ties into everything that I've talked about so far, deeper gameplay. The biggest problem with the last Battlefront was, after about a day and a half of playing it, of the wow factor of how good it looks, how great it sounds, it quickly got boring. Why? Because there was no real depth to it. Teamwork in the last Battlefront was basically group up together and shove yourselves into wherever the objective was. Strategy was incredibly limited. The unlocks didn't really feel all that fantastic, and the gameplay itself just wasn't interesting. As soon as you were a hero character, you raffle-stomped everything in front of you without any thought to what you were doing or why you were doing it. The gameplay was incredibly shallow in the last Battlefront. How could they improve this? Well, this is one of those moments where the largest gaming developer on this planet needs to sit back and think, maybe we should stop trying to build inside the box that's been around for 20 years and start thinking outside it. Start developing Battlefront as not just repeating what we've done in the past, but make it prettier, but with less options, and actually do something new. And well, you're probably asking, well, Shaq, what could they possibly do? They could do all kinds of fun things. Let's go back to Galactic Conquest for a minute. Why can't we have a Galactic Conquest where one player plays the Grand General and he's playing a strategy game unlike Empire at War, where the players playing these rounds are the soldiers fighting the battles? Imagine the General as a Twitch streamer. There are all kinds of gameplay mechanics where they could bring communities together to fight against the evils of the Separatists or the Empire as the rebels. There's all kinds of neat mechanics to tie this in to make it feel like we're not just playing another round-based shooter capturing points that's been cloaked the look of the Star Wars universe. Get creative with what the IP is that you have at your disposal. Nobody else has this IP to develop on PC right now or on consoles. It's just you, EA. This is your chance to create something new, or maybe to mix genres and try something new with the Battlefront franchise. Stop trying to repeat the echoes of the past. Those games are fun, and they're already out. Give us a deeper, more interesting experience. Have fun with the IP. Don't just try to pump out something that you know is going to sell well, but actually get something out there that's going to change the genre, the shooter round-based genre, into something more interesting. I expect more from the largest developer out there right now, as a Star Wars fan and as a gamer. And I'm curious if you guys agree with me. Do you want to see something more? It's not like they don't have the money, they could take the time, but instead we're getting a game every, 2 years? Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Bring us into the Star Wars universe as a community. Look at it as a multiplayer game, and in what ways as we as players can interact with each other in that game. Make it so the battles actually mean something. Make it so when we conquer Coruscant, it actually matters, and we want to reference back to that. We want to talk to our friends about how I fought alongside the community that I enjoy playing with. I took the fight to the Empire, or the droids, or the Rebels, or the New Republic, and we managed to win. And not just because it was one more round and I'm gonna go play the next, but because it was something that the community built up toward and worked together on. Make memories that matter, that have a little bit more weight to them, and not just one more battle in one more round. Curious to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. I'm gonna be covering Battlefront 2 because it is going to be probably the best looking Star Wars game that has ever come out, but will it have the best gameplay? Well, we'll find out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, everybody.